Hi, this is Chandra. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is I now know how to use the Reminder Rosie. The bad news is I thought I was shooting my first video, and it turns out I did the whole thing and hadn't pressed record properly on my phone. And it was probably the funniest video I've ever recorded. So the bad news is you don't get to see the hilarity that was me interacting with this device as if it were a Google Home or an Alexa, and it shutting up and canceling me and not doing what I wanted it to do. I was so frustrated. But I learned how to use it, so the good news is maybe this will be a smoother video and you won't have to go through, watching all my painful setup. I just think I try to give a realistic impression of what it's like to set up equipment, and so the pains that I went through, not only were they funny, would have been educational as well. But okay, round two, let's get started. If you watched my really brief unboxing video, this is a Reminder Rosie, and it is a talking alarm clock or talking reminder device, but you get to record the messages. So if you're working with the elderly population, you could have their, children, grandchildren, caregivers, whatever, record reminders with their own voice. You also could use it for the, people that have low vision, like significant low vision, or are blind, because it has voice output. Where I struggled in setting it up is that I'm so used to smart devices. We have Google Home, we have Alexa, I've got Siri on my phone, so I'm so used to those kinds of commands. And I think sometimes I was reading too much into what she was saying, but this will be smooth. The only complaint I really have so far is that in setting up the voice reminders, you only get 6 seconds. So on the instruction sheet, which is, 2.5 feet tall, on the instruction sheet, it gives some example reminders. And one of the examples is, it's Justin's birthday. Call him at 555-555-1212. So that was the suggestion that they gave. And when I was trying to do that with my voice, it kept cutting me off after I got like the first bit of the area code. So then I'd have to say it faster. And to really say it fast enough that it didn't cut me off in 6 seconds, it would be like, hi mom, it's Justin's birthday. Give him a call at 555-555-1212. And I think, considering this is for a population that's older in age or maybe has some cognitive impairments, I think you needed longer than 6 seconds. So if you needed to explain something, like you think you're gonna leave a message like, hey mom, you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Make sure to take your prescription pill bottles with you when you go. It's at 2 p.m. You're gonna run out of time. So be wary of, that limitation. Now you can record the messages however you want, in whatever language you want, but in commanding the alarm clock, she only understands English. She also can't listen and speak at the same time. So if she's talking out loud, she doesn't hear you, trying to say anything. So I'm going to peel off the sticker and plug it in, and let's get started. Okay, I have to plug this in live because as soon as I plug in this alarm clock, she starts talking. So I'm gonna plug it in and let's get started.
Hi, I'm Reminder Rosie, your personal reminder assistant. To wake me up, say, hello Reminder Rosie, or push down on me. Give it a try now.
Hello, Reminder Rosie.
Hi, here are some commands you can say to get started. Set time, set date, or help. Please say a command.
Set time.
Please tell me the time, including AM or PM.
12:45 a.m.
The time is set to 12:45 a.m.
Well, now y'all know how late I'm up. Hey, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Set date.
Please tell me the month.
October.
Please tell me the date. For example, for the 22nd, just say 22.
23.
Please tell me the year. For example, 2015.
2020.
Today is Friday, October 23rd, 2020.
So when you finish doing something, she just stops. There's no goodbye or any indication. I don't know, I'm sure you can see it. There's a little light over here. It says trigger reminder. So now that I've got her plugged in, I do want to show you that there are buttons on the back. So across the top, you have alarm, off or on. You have that trigger. And what I learned is that's the thing that makes her be listening to wake her up with the, hey, reminder, Rosie, you know, with the command. So if you turn the trigger off, then she's not listening and she won't wake up when you prompt her to. It says mode, up and down. So as I learned later when I was erasing reminders, you can go to manual mode because this can hold up to 25 reminders. So if you've got 20...
Please say a command.
Let me turn the trigger off for a second.
Goodbye.
The light didn't turn off on the front.
Trigger mode is off.
Oh, there we go. So if you've got 25 reminders set, you don't want to have to listen to all your memos, your voice messages. So you can switch to manual mode when you're in the middle of deleting them all and go up and down and toggle through them and erase them manually. Then we've got dimmer, high and low, and volume high and low. And there's titles on the bottom of the buttons too, erase all and erase and reminder. And so it took me getting into the commands to erase them for that button to be erase instead of mode. And it's got some little easy to, you know, little cheat sheet on the back of some of the common things. So I'm gonna turn the trigger back on.
Trigger mode is on.
Okay, so far we've set the date and we've set the time. So let's set an alarm. And I've got my little, the manual here, but sometimes it takes me a little trial and error. Hey, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Set alarm.
Please say the time you would like the alarm to sound, including AM or PM.
7:30 a.m.
The alarm is set to 7:30 a.m. The alarm is on.
Okay, that was pretty simple. The first time I did it, the button on the back, the actual physical button, was set to off. And so I kind of went through some voice commands and it wasn't working, and then I remembered that there were buttons on the back, and sure enough, that's where it was. Okay, so let's try doing a voice reminder, and I've got, you know, there are little suggestion ones here. One of them is medication reminders, okay? Hello, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Record reminder.
Please record a reminder.
Mom, I love you. It's time to take your medicine. Take 2 of the red pills and 1 blue pill.
Mom, I love you. It's time to take your medicine. Take 2 of the red pills and 1 blue pill. Say, keep reminder or record again.
Keep reminder.
Please tell me the time the reminder should play, including AM or PM.
12 o'clock p.m.
12 o'clock p.m. Is this correct?
Yes.
Is this reminder for today only?
No.
Please say the day of the week, or say every day, or say calendar date.
Every day.
The reminder will play every day at 12 o'clock p.m. Is this correct?
Yes.
Reminder saved.
So the first time I was trying to do this, I was struggling to get her to save them. Like when she would say, do you want to keep? I would say, keep. And she would say, I can't hear you. And I'd say, keep. And she'd say, goodbye. And then I went through the reminders and found that it hadn't recorded. Well, if you listen carefully, she says, say, keep reminder. So those of you that are used to smart devices, you know, that are pretty intuitive, like, you know, Siri and Alexa and Google Home, you can give them little short commands and they can figure it out. This cannot figure it out. You have to say exactly what the command is. So I can't say, hi, Reminder Rosie. See, she doesn't do anything. You have to say, hello, Reminder Rosie. Well, usually that works. Hello, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Record reminder.
Please record a reminder.
Today's my sister's birthday. Give her a call.
Today's my sister's birthday. Give her a call. Say, keep reminder or record again.
Keep reminder.
Please tell me the time the reminder should play, including AM or PM.
3 o'clock p.m.
3 o'clock PM. Is this correct?
Yes?
Is this reminder for today only?
No?
Please say the day of the week, or say every day, or say calendar date.
Calendar date.
Please tell me the month for this reminder.
May.
Please tell me the date for this reminder.
5.
Is this reminder for this year?
Yes.
The reminder is set for May 5th, 2020. Is this correct?
Yes.
Does this reminder repeat every year?
Yes.
The reminder will play every year on May 5th. Reminder saved.
Okay, so the first time I did it, I kept saying 5th because my sister's birthday is May 5th and she didn't understand it. But as you heard by the prompt, she says for 5th, say 5, and then she quickly got it. Okay, so you can see it's very easy to set the reminders, but I do want to demonstrate the one that I couldn't get done in 6 seconds. Hello, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Record reminder.
Please record a reminder.
Hi, Dad. It's Justin's birthday. Call him at 555 555.
Hi, Dad. It's Justin's birthday. Call him at 555 55. Say, keep reminder or record again.
Cancel.
Goodbye.
So you can see I couldn't get out their sample message because I didn't speak fast enough. And so I really had to, talk really fast to get it all in 6 seconds, and I don't think that was going to be a very helpful reminder. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what you say. Also, 25 reminders it might not be enough. Obviously, if you have recurring medication, that can count as 1 if you say every day. But if you have 10 grandchildren and you want their birthdays in there, you've used up, almost half of the reminders. So you couldn't use this for like daily routines, right? Like get out of bed, alarm reminder, and then brush your teeth, and then make breakfast, like we might do with a task app or a watch minder or a revibe or, some of those other daily task reminders. So 25 may seem like a lot, but it's really not if you start counting them up. So before you purchase this, I definitely would count how many reminders you anticipate and then leave a little wiggle room. All right, another thing that I thought of is, although the speaker is really loud, obviously you probably can hear it fine, this is a physical device. There's no Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So if you have a parent who lives in a 2-story house and this is located in the bedroom or this is located in the living room and they're not in the room at the time, I don't know that they'll get the alarm. I mean, it says in here that it goes off for a little bit, and if you don't respond and turn it off, you can, it'll play it again in a little bit of time. But I think that would be a big concern. If somebody wasn't physically in the environment and there was a lot of really important reminders, I don't know if this is the way that I would go. For someone that lives in assisted living or they live in a group home, they're more confined to a small space, this might be fine. But I could just see, my mom is down in the basement when it's going off and she completely misses her medication or whatever important reminder. So I want to show you how to turn it off. It took me a while to figure it out. It keeps saying in the instructions to press down on it, but I don't see any buttons. There's no buttons on the back. You really do just kind of physically push it.
Say a command.
You just kind of push it down. I didn't even really see from the bottom that
Goodbye.
that it did push. I think it's happening in these 2 feet. So in the feet, it pushes down. Okay, so now I want to demonstrate erasing the messages. So you start by playing them. Hello, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Play all reminders.
To To erase a reminder, please say erase after you hear it. You can say cancel between reminders to end the playback. To switch to manual mode, press the clock down anytime during playback, every day at 12 o'clock p.m.
Mom, I love you. It's time to take your medicine. Take 2 of the red pills and 1 blue pill.
Erase.
This reminder has been erased May 5th every year at 3 o'clock p.m. Today, press the up button to play the reminders from oldest to newest. Press the down button to play from newest to oldest. Press the erase button to erase the currently selected reminder. Press the erase all button to erase all reminders. Press the clock down to end this operation. All reminders erased. Goodbye.
So that was pretty easy. I did read that she has she can help you. You can ask it today's reminders. That's not really very intuitive, like, with Siri. You might say something a little more natural, like, what's on my to-do list today, or what are my reminders for the day. But you have to say today's reminders to get her to read them all out to you. But there is a help. So I can say, hello, Reminder Rosie.
Please say a command.
Help.
I am Reminder Rosie, your personal reminder assistant. To wake me up, say, hello, Reminder Rosie, or push down on me. You can say different commands I understand in your normal conversational voice when I am not speaking. In this help menu, you can say yes or no right after you hear the command. What time is it?
Are you asking
What
me?
day is it?
Oh.
Set time.
No.
Set date.
No.
Set alarm.
No.
Choose alarm sound.
Yes.
To choose an alarm sound, say alarm 1, alarm 2, alarm 3, or alarm 4. The requested alarm time will be announced. For example, good morning, it's 7:30 a.m.
Alarm 4.
The requested alarm time will be announced.
She turned on her sultry voice. Okay, so apparently I was supposed to be saying no to the things I didn't want her to do, but when I didn't respond, she just kept going. That worked. I think I've gone through most of the important things, enough to give you an idea of how this device works. Again, you can kind of think through who this might be appropriate for. Training seems to be pretty minimal, but I would think things through that if your parent or loved one or whoever you're going to use this for, if they can't remember those certain commands, you're going to lose the interactive piece. Remember, it can always just speak at them. You can put in the messages and you can give the reminders, but they might not be able to either cognitively or remember the commands to ask it things. So if you only need it one way, there might be a different device. I mean, there's talking alarm clocks, so maybe you don't need something like this, but so far I like it. I like her positive, upbeat voice. The instructions are in English and in Spanish. They don't seem that complicated. Any of the issues that I had the first time around were really my own fault for, trying to use it like Google Home. Certainly loud. Like, again, as long as you're in the room. Buttons are pretty intuitive. I still haven't quite figured out what's depressing. I think it's the feet. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. I didn't look up the cost of this yet, but they do have a website, reminderrosie.com.
Please say a command. Goodbye.
I didn't even know what to say. I'm gonna turn the trigger off in a minute. So thank you, and I hope this helps.